Hello again, welcome back. Welcome to class number 113. Yes, sir, we are progressing. Siempre digo yes, sir. Eso es una forma en inglés. Sí, señor. Yes, sir. In Spanish too. Yes, sir. We're progressing. And now we are with the past tense. Only the verb to be, yes, with the past tense. But immediately, today, probably, we will get into the past continuous. And yesterday we dabbled a bit in the past continuous. Dabble means entrar de forma no oficial en el pasado continuo. Donde estaba, yo vivía in Austin, Texas, en el año. Yes, I was living, let's see, in the year 1974, I was living in Spain. In the year 1974, I was living in Austin, Texas, the first half of the year. And in Madrid, Spain, the second half of the year, in 1974. In 1974, I was 22. I was 22 most of the year. Most of the year, I was 22. Most of the year. Most of the people. La mayoría de la gente. La mayor parte del año. Most of. Mostaza. Mosta. Usa la T. Most of. Most of. Most of. Mostaza. No te cuesta decir mostaza. No dices mostaza. So you say most of, enlaza. Most of the year, in 1974, most of the year I was in, most of the year? No, yeah, most of the year. Well, half of the year, la mitad, half. La L in half es muda. Half, no half. Half. Half the year, or half of the year, ambos valen. Half the year I was in the U.S., and the second half of the year, ahora con the second half of the year I was in Spain. But most of the year I was 22. Part of the year I was 23. But most of the year I was 22. So now we have the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense together, and we can be a little more dynamic. I'm here now, I was here yesterday, and I'll be here tomorrow. Yes, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here every day in the future for you, except on the weekends. On the weekends, no. You need to get the books. These books, this information, will be here tomorrow on the screen, on my left, up there, not up there, and not down there, not up there, up there. The information will be there, and the information will continue. It was there yesterday, it's there now, and it'll be there tomorrow. Escucha. Estaba allí. It was. It was. It was there yesterday. It's there now. It's contracción de it is. It's there now. Escucha. It'll be there tomorrow. It'll. It will. Contracción, it will. ¿Cómo se dice pequeñito? Pequeño. Little. Little. Quita la L primera. It'll. Así se pronuncia la contracción de it will. Es como little sin la L. It'll. Será pequeño. No será grande. Escucha. It'll be little, comma. It won't be big. It'll be little. It won't be big. It'll be little, it won't be big. It'll be little, it won't be big. It'll be little, it won't be big. I invent a song for everything. It'll be little, it won't be big. No, it'll be little, it won't be big. All right, it'll. So, this information, I'm a little bit crazy today. Right, Marta? Okay. This information was up there yesterday. It's up there today, and it'll be up there tomorrow. Okay. Was Luigi Barghini in Italy last week? Yes, he was. Where was Nancy Johnson yesterday? She was in Lincoln, Nebraska. Was she sick yesterday? I don't know. Nancy, where are you? Where are you? She was here yesterday. Nancy? I can't find Nancy. Where are you? Nancy? She was here yesterday. I'm sure. I remember she was here yesterday. But she's not here today. Nancy, where are you? Where are you? Can you believe it? I can't find Nancy. Here she is. My God. You were hiding. Estabas escondiéndote. You were hiding from me. This is Nancy Johnson. And she was hiding from me. You were hiding from me, weren't you? She was. She said she was hiding from me. Playing cat and mouse. Jugando gato y ratón. She was playing cat and mouse with me. She was playing cat and mouse with me. Were you? Were you playing? She says a little bit, un poquito. All right. Were you in Lincoln yesterday? She was. She says she was. Excuse me. What do you want? You want me to ask her if she was at home yesterday at 10 p.m.? Nancy, were you at home yesterday at 10 p.m.? You were. She says she was. What do you want? So you want me to ask her if she was at home yesterday at 3 p.m.? Nancy, were you? Se lo estoy preguntando, eh? I'm asking her, okay? I'm asking her. Yeah. That's what you want, right? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? ¿Es eso lo que quieres? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? What you? Chewing gum. Chewing gum, is that what you chew? What you? Se enlaza what, la T de what, con la I, sonido de I, de you. What you? Portugal, what you? Future. Is that what you want? Okay, good. Just a second. Nancy, I'm asking her. All right? Be patient. All right? Be patient. Were you at home yesterday? What time? At 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon? In the afternoon. 3 p.m. All right. Nancy, were you at home at 3 p.m. yesterday? You were? You were. Are you sure? You were. She says she was. So, she was at home. She was home. Nancy, was she a good student in the university? Yes, she was. Was she from Nebraska? No, she wasn't. Well, is she from Nebraska? No, she's not. Where is she from? She's from Kansas. Where is she from in Kansas? She's from Coffeyville. La Villa del Café. Yes and no. The spelling is different. Coffee is a surname, Mr. Coffee. La Villa del Señor Coffee. The spelling is different. Is it a big town, a big city, or a small town? It's a town, a normal town. How many people are there in Coffeyville? There are about, I think, 20,000 people in Coffeyville. Is it near Nebraska? No, it's not. Is it near Missouri? Yes, it is. What other state is it near? It's also near Oklahoma. It's in the corner of Kansas. Oklahoma is to the south, and Missouri is to the east. And to the west, Colorado, but it's very far. And to the north, Nebraska, but it's very far. Well, how big is Kansas? It's about half the size of Spain. It's about Andalusia and Castilla-La Mancha together, basically. Is it a square state? No, it's rectangular. What's the capital of Kansas? The capital of Kansas is Topeka. Topeka. How do you spell it? Topeka, con K al final. Topeka. Wow, that's new for me. Where is it in Kansas? It's in the east of Kansas, in the center. So it's near Missouri. Yes, it's near Missouri. Is it a big city? No, it's not. What's the population of Topeka? The population is about 100,000 people. So it's not very big. It's not very big. Was it the capital 100 years ago? I don't know. Probably. Yes. Was Kansas a state 100 years ago? Yes, it was. Yes. Was Oklahoma a state 100 years ago? Yes, it was. Yes. How many states were there 100 years ago? 100 years ago, in the year 1920, there were 48 states. How many states are there now? Now there are 50. Oh, really? There are 2 more states now than 100 years ago. Yes. And what are the 2 states? Alaska and Hawaii. Okay. Was Alaska a state 50 years ago? Yes, it was. Was Alaska a state 70 years ago? Por los pelos, sí. Yes. 70 years. No. Alaska wasn't a state. Excuse me. Alaska was a state 60 years ago, but not 62 years ago. So 61 years ago, Alaska became a state, and Hawaii too. In 1959. All right. And Richard, yes, were you alive when Alaska was a state? Yes, I was. How old were you? I was 8. Do you remember? Yes, I do. I remember. All right, I remember. And where were you in 1960? Well, it depends. Most of the year, I was in Texas. But in December, I was in Oklahoma. How old was your sister at that time? At that time, my sister was, let's see, she was 3 years older than me. So let's see, I was 8 and she was 11. She was 11 years old. All right, el pasado simple, con el verbo to be. Are you ready? Fui profesor cuando yo era joven. Okay, I was a teacher when I was young. Estuve con él una vez cuando yo estaba ahí. Okay, I was with him once when I was there. Fuiste mi salvación el otro día. You were my salvation the other day. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. You were my salvation the other day. Eres el mejor en esa época. You were the best at that time. You were the best. Better than all the rest. You were the best. You were number 1. Are you number 1 today? No? What happened? What's the problem? You are number 1. Yes. And Nancy was number 1 in my heart many years ago. But now it's too late. It's too late, baby. Yes, it's too late. So, eres el mejor en esa época. O en aquella época. You were the best at that time. At that time. ¿Dónde estuviste ayer? Where were you? Where were you? No te vi ayer aquí, eh? It's true. Where were you yesterday? Where? Practica esto un poco. Where were? Escucha cómo, oyes cómo cambia. Los hispanohablantes muchas veces decís, where were you? Where? Que es llevar puesto. Where? No. Where were? Yo aspiro la WH. Los británicos no suelen decir where. Where were you? Where were? Pero hay una diferencia. Where were? Where were? Where were you? You. Yellow you. Where were you? Yesterday. Otra vez con la Y. Mucha ya. Where were you yesterday? Where were you yesterday? I was here, but you weren't. I was here, but you weren't. Weren't. No me digas weren't, por favor. Weren't. Es como aren't. You aren't. Como las focas, ¿recuerdas del zoo? Aren't. Pero solo las focas hablan en el presente. Nunca dicen weren't. All right, aren't, weren't. Yeah, you weren't here yesterday. All right, let's continue. But I was. You weren't here, but I was. Somebody has to be responsible. All right. ¿Con quién estabas hace un momento? ¿Quién estabas tú con hace un momento en inglés? Who were you with? Who were you? Who were you with a few moments ago? Or a moment ago? Hace un momento. Who were you with? ¿Quién era? Who was that person? Who was the person you were with? Who was? ¿Quién era la persona con quien estuviste? Who was the person you were with? Who were you with a moment ago? Él fue un gran hombre. He was a great man. He was a great man. Yes, ella era su mujer. She was his wife. He was a great man, and Franklin Roosevelt was a great man, and Eleanor Roosevelt was his wife. John Kennedy was a great man, and Jackie Kennedy was his wife. James Madison was a great man, and Dolly Madison, not Dolly Parton, Dolly Madison was his wife. George Washington was a great man, and Martha, como tú, Martha, pero con TH, Martha Washington was his wife. All right. And Philip Johnson is a great man, and Nancy Johnson is his wife. All right. Él fue un gran hombre. He was a great man. Ella era su mujer. She was his wife. Was she? Yes, she was. Was she really his wife? Yes, she was. All right. Él estuvo aquí una vez. Él estuvo aquí una vez. He was here once. Yes, he was here about 2 years ago. But he was here once, not twice. He was here once. Él estaba aquí. Oh, ¿quién es aquí? Él estaba aquí a esta hora ayer. He was here at this time yesterday. Where were you at this time yesterday? At this time yesterday, I was here. I was here at this time yesterday. Nancy, where were you at this time yesterday? You were in the technical school. She was in the technical school. Do you remember she teaches interior design at a technical college west of Lincoln, Nebraska? Every morning. Where were you yesterday at 11 o'clock? She was in the technical college. What were you doing? And she says, what time? At 11 o'clock. I was returning to my classroom. So she says she was returning from the break. She has a class from 10 to 10:50. And then she has 10 minutes. And then she starts a second class at 11 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock, she was going into the room. All right, is that right, Nancy? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And were you there yesterday? She was. And in 10:55, 5 minutes to 11, where were you yesterday at 10:55? She was in the cafeteria in the college, having a coffee. All right. Were you alone? No? She says she wasn't alone. She says she wasn't. No, estaba sola. Were you with your husband? You weren't. She says she wasn't with her husband. Were you, well, who were you with? Oh, she says she was with another teacher, having coffee. All right. Are you sure? She is, yeah. She says she's sure. She says. I say, you say, she says. She says that she is sure. Escucha. She says es un trabalenguas. She says she's sure. Wow, she sells seashells by the seashore. She says she's sure. He encontrado un trabalenguas. We need to practice this. Ella dice que está segura. She says she is sure. Contraigamos. She says she's sure. It's difficult for me, eh? Practice it. My homework, I'm going to practice this tonight. She says she's sure. I say I'm sure. You say you're sure. They say they're sure. We say we're sure. He says he's sure. And she says she's sure. It's difficult, eh? That's the first time. Esto es una primicia. This is the first time in my life I have encountered a phonetic challenge with normal, easy English. Okay. You're helping me. Thank you. All right, the next one. So, él estaba aquí. No, fuimos profesores cuando éramos jóvenes. We were teachers when we were young. We were. Mucho W aquí, ¿a que sí? We were teachers when we were young. Excuse me. ¿Erais profesores? Fuisteis profesores? Were you teachers when you were young? When I was young. When we were young. We were teachers. Yes, we were teachers when we were young. Were you math teachers when you were young? No, we weren't. What kind of teachers were you? We were coaches when we were young. Coaches. Yes, we were baseball coaches when we were young. I was a baseball coach and he was a baseball coach. We were baseball coaches when we were. Practícalo un poco. We are, we were. We're, we were. Claro, we are, solemos contraer. We're American. I'm American and she's American. I'm from Texas and she's from Kansas. But we're both American. And we were American last year. We're American now and we were American last year. We were American last year. And we'll be American next year, God willing. God willing es Dios mediante, si Dios quiere. God willing, si Dios dispone. Will is voluntad. Willing is disposición o dispuesto. Yes. We're American. We were American last year, and we'll be American next year. All right. She's from Kansas, and I'm from Texas. However, she lives in Nebraska, and I don't. I live in Spain. I live in Spain, but she doesn't. And she lives in Nebraska, but I don't. So we don't live in the same state. We live in different places. She lives very far from me. Nebraska is very far from here. Well, how far is it? 5,000 miles. 5,000 miles? Yes, Nebraska is 5,000 miles from Spain. Are you sure? Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty es bonito. También es bastante seguro. I'm pretty sure. 5,000 miles, how much is that in kilometers? Excuse me? How much is 5,000 miles in kilometers? How much is it in kilometers? It's 8,000. Wow, that's far. Yeah, Nebraska is far from Spain. So we live very far from each other. But Richard, do you know Nancy personally? Of course I do. Why do you know her personally? I know her personally because I created her. I created her. She's a product of my imagination. Yes, she's a product of my creativity. She's a product, Nancy, pero los personajes adquieren vida propia, eso seguro. Yes, all right. They have a life. Okay, now, was Nancy in Spain last year? No, she wasn't. Was she in Spain 2 years ago? No, she wasn't. She's never been to Spain. Ah. I'm going to invite Nancy and Philip to Spain. I'm going to invite them to Spain. All right? Okay, so let's finish this. Estuvimos con él cuando estábamos ahí. We were with him when we were there. Now we're not with him. Now we're not. Now we aren't. Now we're not with him. But we were with him when we were there. And when were you there? We were there yesterday. But where? We were in Toledo yesterday. In Toledo, south of Madrid. Oh, really? You were there yesterday? Yes, we were. Who? My wife and I. Ah. You were in Toledo yesterday? Yes, we were. Weren't you here yesterday? Yes, I was here. My wife wasn't, but I was here. But you say you were in Toledo. Yes, after the class yesterday, we were in Toledo. Ah, yes. We were there. Were you? Yes, we were. Okay. Fueron los mejores candidatos, en mi opinión. They were the best candidates, in my opinion. Candidato, candidate. There are two pronunciations for candidate. Candidate and candidate. Both are correct. Some people say candidate, other people say candidate. Whichever is easier for you. Probably candidate. The first letter in the alphabet is A. Candidate. Date, como una fecha. Date. Candidate. Pero mucha gente, probablemente mayoría de candidate. Sí, somos un poco vagos a veces con la fonética. Candidate. Fueron los mejores candidatos, en mi opinión. They were They were the best candidates in my opinion. Mis abuelos eran agricultores. No, not true. My grandparents were farmers. My grandparents were farmers, not true. One grandfather was a doctor and the other grandfather was a businessman. Hombre de negocios. Estaban en Texas en 1930. They were in Texas in 1930. Estuvieron aquí hace 10 años. They were here 10 years ago. Claro, hace 10 años. Mañana entraremos en esto de hace un año, hace una semana, hace mucho tiempo. Ago. Me extrañó mucho cuando empecé a aprender español. Y dice, vinieron hace 2 años. They came, it makes, hace, it makes. Qué forma más rara. Porque decimos en inglés 2 años atrás. 3 years, or 2 years ago. But we'll continue with this tomorrow. In the meantime, study.